Hi there, it is January 20th, and Michelle Carlson Colty is joining this video call. Hooray! And we also have Michael Fricano and Chad Nakapui. And so 4 of our regular people are here, and we have a new semi-regular. I talked to her, and she says she can come on semi-regularly, Melanie Ching. And so I'll have them tell you who they are. So let's start with Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad Nakapoy, Technology Integration Specialist.
Awesome. Melanie?
Hi, I'm Melanie Ching. I'm the Technology Facilitator at Wildlife Public Charter School.
Michael?
Hey everyone, I'm Mike Fricano, and I'm a Tech Integration Specialist for Iolani School.
And Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle Colton. I'm the librarian at Halikula Elementary School.
Great. So we have 4 originals on the show, which is really amazing and really fun. And every one of us will be presenting. I believe, Michelle, you have something to present, correct? Maybe? Thinking about it? Okay. Melanie has something to present for sure. She has a presentation. So Melanie, why don't you go ahead?
Okay.
And I think it's going to be something about professional development at her school.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Let
Exciting.
me try and screen share this again. Okay. Is that working? Okay.
Yes.
But we all know that planning PD can be pretty difficult for a school, but we wanted to share one model that worked well at Wildlife for us. So just a little bit of background. For the first time last year, we were able to fill the technology facilitator position since 2008. So we had lots of other priorities that we were working on, and tech really wasn't on our radar too much. Definitely the hardware and software, but professional development was completely left up to the individual teachers. So once we knew that position was going to be filled, we wanted to kind of get some good forward momentum. And we scheduled 3 whole school PD days focused on technology. So each trimester we had 1 professional day. The first one was pretty easy. We decided to go with Google Apps for Education because we rolled that out last year for the first time. And then in our second trimester, we wanted to make sure we had some integration down and talked a little bit about SAMR levels. But the third trimester, we weren't really sure what we wanted to do with that. But we're hoping that as the school year went on, that it would kind of grow and develop organically. That really wasn't the case so much. So as it got closer, we still kind of hadn't pinned down exactly what it was. But we did know that we wanted it to be worthwhile, because it's hard for teachers to give up a whole day in their classroom because the instructional time is just so precious. We wanted to make sure that it was engaging and hands-on, and that teachers could take something immediately away from it. So what we did decide to do is, because we had such a huge spectrum of knowledge and skills for our teachers, that we knew right away that one size just wouldn't fit all, and we couldn't do a whole faculty kind of PD day like we had been doing the past 2. So we decided that we were going to do it in like a mini conference format. So we'd provide workshop sessions for the teachers and let them register in advance so they kind of knew what topics were around, and then we'd provide them a schedule. But some of the problems that we ran into is that the tech cadre, which was kind of planning all of the PD days, there's only 1 teacher that represents the grade levels K through 5, so 5 teachers, and then 1 special needs teacher, and then myself. So being that not every teacher was ready to kind of step forward and teach a whole session, we didn't really have enough workshops to go around for everyone. So what we wanted to do then was we set up some centers that people could kind of go in and take their time working on. But it still wasn't enough. So we brainstormed, couldn't figure out who it was going to be, and then we decided, well, why don't we ask our Student Council Technology Committee? And this was a subcommittee of the Student Council. They had kind of formed that idea themselves, Basically, they wanted to just kind of help care for our computer lab. They wanted to help teachers with troubleshooting in the classroom, and they had just finished making a video about our library procedures and policies for our librarian. So I went to them and I just asked, are you guys willing to do this for us? And of course, they were really excited. They got a chance to, be the experts. So for a couple of weeks before the actual PD day, they met with me. They filled out like a little lesson plan of what they were going to teach, and they practiced with me and with each other to kind of perfect what they were doing. And what they came up with was a couple of them did Google Sites. So that's our librarian there. And so this is Ty. He's making her plan out what her site is going to look like. So all the planning had to be done first before the fun things, kind of putting together the pictures and whatnot. So it was Ty and another 2 girls that worked with him to do Google Sites. And we had our 4th graders show some of our teachers how to do Google Presentation. So that's actually our PE teacher and our Hawaiian Studies teacher that's working on that. And then finally we had a group of 5th graders that had done some RSA Animate style kinds of presentations. So they showed some teachers how to do that. So they went from the planning stages to actually filming their drawings and recording it, and then downloading it onto iMovie and putting it together that way. So feedback from both teachers and students for that particular PD day was just really, really great. The students did such a good job with it. They really came through for us. They knew their stuff. And actually, they gave up a day off because it was a waiver day for us. So they could have stayed away from school, but instead they came bright and early, and they taught for half the day. And our teachers, of course, loved it because we were able to address the different needs. And actually, the students' workshops were most popular, really. So that's kind of what we did. And it was a really great day, I think, for all of us teachers and the students. So that worked out well.
That's fantastic. Are you going to do it again?
We don't have PD days set aside this year, but what they're doing is they want to actually film some tutorials for the teachers, and we'll have it archived somewhere for them.
And what grade are these kids that are doing the PD?
4th and 5th graders. 4th and 5th grade.
That's amazing. And how many?
I had 8 total that day. So there were 2 groups of 3 and then 1 group of 2.
And it's part of Student Council, you said?
Yeah. This was the first year that they actually brought up having a separate technology committee on Student Council. And they usually do subcommittees for things like Halloween costume contest and like food drives and those sort of things. But they just were really excited about kind of helping the school in a different way. And they had some really great ideas that we didn't actually get to completely do last year, but we're hoping to move forward a little bit more this year with those.
Hey, Melanie, did the kids ask to have a technology subcommittee on their student council, or was that a teacher idea?
No, it was the students. They actually asked their advisor, and the advisor came to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? So I said, well, I'll come in and meet with the kids, and they kind of presented to me what their ideas would be, and they had a whole list that we just didn't have time for, but they really wanted to do that. So I think it started off really well, and they got some new students excited for this year too. So we're hoping to make it a regular part of Student Council.
That's great.
Yeah,
you know, we did something similar in Tech PD Day, and then we have weekly PD sessions on Tuesday. But what I find with the teachers is that they really like one-to-one, kind of like what Chad used to do at Wheeler Middle School. So Melanie, my question for you is, do you think that the Student Council would have time to be kind of like go out there for one-to-one help if teachers need it, either at lunchtime or after school or anything?
Yeah, that's the thing that we're trying to work on, because right now we have about 45 minutes once a week for Student Council. So last year, that's what they were doing. They were going out during that time to kind of help. And we haven't quite figured out a way for them to go during the school day that's non-intrusive, I guess, into the classrooms.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to kind of build that as the teachers get more informed too about the committee itself.
You know, I just really think that the skills that the kids build as they go and help adults are some of those skills that aren't really measured by standardized tests. Don't worry, Linda, I'm not going to talk about that kind of stuff.
No, no.
But I just mean it's not the stuff that we look at necessarily in grades, but it's those lifelong skills that, you know, interacting with others and learning how to answer questions. And it's actually difficult sometimes to process the question and think about how to share it back. So I think those are very powerful skills that kids would be gaining.
Yeah. It was really funny because after our PD day, one of the kids came up to me and he was like, those teachers, they just kept talking. They wouldn't stop.
That is true. Teachers are sometimes the worst students.
That's marvelous. What a great model. Great model. And you have the enthusiasm to start, so that's great. Fantastic. Anne has joined us. She's on the left. Hi, Anne. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Ann.
Now we have 5 of our original people here. That's awesome. Thanks for coming. Anne is from Kalani High School. She's the librarian. Okay, Michael Fricano, could you go next? One of the surprises that we're going to have is little Mikey, but little Mikey's asleep. That's okay. Maybe next time. We're hoping to have his Google Hangout debut, but maybe another time.
Sometime soon.
But Michael does have cool stuff to share about Google Classroom and maybe other things. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah. I just wanted to briefly share some of the, or not some, but all of the new classroom updates that were released last week. For those of you who use Classroom out there, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on one second.
No problem.
So released, they added 2 new features to Google Classroom, as well as an app, a mobile app for both the Android and iOS platform. So now students and teachers can install the app on their tablets or their phones to access their materials and content on Classroom. So right to that. So here's the blog post that was published last week, introducing everyone to the new updates. So they talk about the mobile app, which has a few neat features. I'll get to that in a second. And there's two new features added to the Classroom web-based application. So one is the ability to archive classrooms. So before, if you want to use Classroom, you would have your dashboard with all your classes on it, and there's a lot of teachers out there that teach a lot of different classes, and there was really no way to remove old classes that you're finished with, other than just deleting them. But some people don't want to delete them; they want to keep them, but they want to move them somewhere else. So one of the new features is the ability to archive classes, and when you do that, it's moved to the archived classes section of your dashboard, and it's kind of kept hidden out of the way, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. So it's not deleted; it's still there. But archiving a class means that the teacher and students can't make changes or edit or add things to the classroom anymore. Both the teacher and the students still have access to it. They can still see, they can still open it up and see the content inside. But you can't add or edit anything in the classroom. So it's very useful for those teachers and students that still want to go back to the materials if they need to, but and they still have a place to do that without affecting or changing anything in the classroom. So that's a great new feature. And you can still delete classes if you really want to. So once a class is archived, then you have the option to delete it. You can also restore it back to the dashboard if you choose to. So that's a cool new feature that was added. The other feature mentioned here is a teacher assignment page. So before this update, only the students had an assignment page where they could see all of their assignments listed for all of their classes. It was an easy way for students to keep track of all their assignments and their due dates. But the teacher really didn't have anything like that to keep track of all of their classes. So the classroom team finally added an assignments page for the teacher as well. So it's over here in the side menu. And it looks like this. So in the teacher's view, assignments are organized by not reviewed and reviewed. And here I can see all of the assignments for all of my classes organized by their due date. So the item that's due the most recently will fall on top, and older assignments will fall to the bottom. And I can click on those assignments to access student content and materials if I need to. I can see who's done and who's not done. And when I'm done checking this assignment, I can mark it as reviewed, and it'll be removed from the not reviewed menu, and it'll be moved over to the reviewed menu. So it's a really handy way for teachers to keep track of assignments now as well. So that's another great addition to Classroom that was added last week. And the biggest announcement was the addition of an Android and iOS mobile app for teachers and students. So you can find the Google Classroom app in the iTunes App Store, located here. It's all free, of course, and there's also an Android version. And this initial release was it's really meant for the student. The Classroom team really had the student in mind initially. So students it's pretty much full-featured for the student. They can access assignments. They can attach materials from their Google Drive app. They can snap photos with the built-in camera on their mobile device, or they can pull in images from their camera roll or their photo gallery. So it's really useful, really handy for those students who are on the go and who need to access their class materials from practically anywhere. It's not full featured for the teacher, so teachers out there just need to be aware of that. For example, right now in the app, teachers can only create announcements. They can't create assignments. And as seen in the picture here, you can't access the About page via the app. So those are things that the Classroom team left out for now. And they're just waiting to hear back from teachers and students via feedback what we want to see added to the app in the near future. So that's a really great addition to any classroom that uses the Google Classroom app. That's it.
And they came up with a guide, right? To a new guide Google did to Google Classroom. Is that Google Classroom or maybe Google Apps? I think it's Google Apps.
It's just a guide on bringing technology into your school.
Right. Based on feedback from users, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Great. Any questions of Michael?
Hey, Mike, the question that I get asked a lot is, and I'm not sure of it. I think Google hasn't added it yet. You still can't do 2 teachers, right, per Google Classroom.
Yeah, it's one of the most frequently requested features. Unfortunately, it's very complicated. I think it's very complicated on the back end for them to do that. I mean, if you use Classroom, as the teacher, part of the workflow process, the teacher gains ownership of student assignment files, depending on what step in the process you're in. So having 2 teachers being a part of that class, it's kind of tricky to handle the back and forth transfer of share permissions for files. That and the Classroom team wants to be very specific as to how they handle that. It's not just having 2 teachers. There's always there's different kinds of secondary teachers in the classroom. There's aides, there's resource teachers, there's coordinators and special education teachers, and the kinds of permissions you want those teachers to have in your classroom may be different depending on the position they hold in your class. So I think they're trying to design something based on the type of teachers that participate in the classroom, and so what they want is a lot of feedback from teachers. What do you want to see? Do you want a primary teacher who can select a secondary teacher that has certain permissions, or do you want the primary teacher to select certain role, like a specific role for that secondary teacher? So it's a really complicated thing, and I know it's something they're working on, because it's one of the most frequently requested features, but it's a little more complicated. I think a lot of people, realize, and they don't want to just put something out there and then have to pull it back because it didn't work very well. So I'm trying to be very careful on how they create that for teachers.
I saw that you have Synergize installed on your Chrome browser, yeah? And
what's that?
Google, I thought it was yours, that Synergize plugin.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's free for Classroom, right?
Yeah, it's free for Google Apps for Education. Let me screenshot it. I'll show you guys what he's talking about. So Synergize is a company that creates a lot of tutorials and videos and step-by-step guides for using different Google apps. So it's an extension that you can add in your Chrome browser, and it adds this little training tab up here. I gotta give her permission here. Accept that. And so it's like a training. It's like they're like step-by-step tutorials that teachers can walk through on their own to learn how to use Classroom. So it's pretty cool, and it actually has a little audio recording there, so you can listen to someone as you walk through the steps. And there's lots of different tutorials there. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. I didn't know about that.
Mike, is Synergize only for Classroom, or is it for other Google apps also?
No, they do this for all kinds of different apps.
Yeah. I know Rachel had shared that one other time. She might have shared it on Mixed Plate or something. Yeah. Hey, I had a question for you too about wasn't the GAFE chat today?
Yeah, today was GAF chat, and it was about creating a paperless classroom with Google Classroom, and it was crazy. It was packed. There was a lot of people talking about Classroom. So yeah, if you guys go and search the hashtag GAF chat, there was a lot of discussion today about how teachers are using it and what they'd like to see added and what they love about Classroom. So
and
it was
is
really,
it
good
the
discussion.
first and third Monday of the month? Or sorry, I've lost track of dates. When does it happen? Tuesday.
For Hawaii, it's 4 p.m. And let me double check the website here.
Mike, it's hashtag GAFE chat, yeah.
Yeah, hashtag GAFE chat.
Yeah, I use Tagboard thanks to Michelle. Michelle showed me Tagboard a long time ago. Perfect aggregator.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with your
They're kind of staticky, Chad.
Yeah, your staticky chat. What happened? I don't see anything different.
It's the first and third Tuesday of every month. Yeah, first and third Tuesday. That's 4 p.m. Hawaii time. Oops.
And Mike, you're going to moderate the chat in April, right?
Yeah, I'm going to moderate a chat in April. I forget what the topic is.
Okay.
I kind of helped moderate today, but I was stuck in traffic on the way home, so I couldn't fully participate. But there's a lot of it was a really good discussion today. It's a very lively gathering of teachers out there, so it was fun.
So you have Siri helping you post your tweets while you're driving?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, multitasker. Multitasker.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, anything else from Michael?
That's all I got for today.
Okay, I wanted to go next because I have a few things, and then I wanted to add the surprise that involves Chad. So I wanted to introduce him that way, if that's okay. And let me see what we got here.
To get my sound effects ready.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to share was Ronnie Bincer's new free video about how to do a Hangout on air, and he does this in about 10 minutes, and it's like the latest if people want to do their own Google Hangout, and he's coming out with a couple more in the next 2 weeks of how to do Hangouts if you're serious about it. He does have a lot of paid things, so you'll see on the right he'll be pushing his training course, but he does have some lot of free things that he gives out. So I recommend him as an expert on Hangout, and also his videos are really cool. And then I wanted to talk about the newspaper map, which is all of a visual of all of the newspapers put on a Google map. And this was brought to my attention by Richard Byrne, who has his free Technology for Teachers site, which I really love. And the newspaper map is really cool because it's a visual, so you could go look at the map. Is that what everyone's seeing? Yes. And zoom in and see where the maps are in a particular area. And if you click on one, you can actually read the newspaper in different languages depending on what country you're from. And so this one is in Spanish, Hoy, and there are, I think, quite a few. I want to say 10,000 of these that newspaper map put together, and it's on a Google map. So that's very cool. And then the third thing I wanted to say is congratulations to Chad, who is now a certified Google education trainer. Yay, Chad! And he was so quiet about it. He said, "Oh, I'm going to apply," and then nothing happened. And then I just happened to be looking in the directory, and there he was. So very, very, very cool that Chad is a trainer. And so what I wanted to do is have Chad talk about how he did it, any kind of tips for people, that sort of thing. Chad, how did it go for you? Tell us how it went.
Okay, how's my audio? You guys can hear me?
It
Still
went
static.
weird. Yeah, it's staticky. And you didn't do anything different, I don't think, unless you were secretly.
Let me try.
Your headset.
Let me try this.
Can you switch your voice over to your internal mic?
Yeah, let me try.
You were fine for a while, and then it just
How's
went
that?
down.
Test.
Better.
That's better,
Okay.
yeah. Good.
Okay. Yeah, so I saw, Mike got his cert last year, and he kind of mentioned I remember Mike telling me specifically, it's what you already do, Chad. You just gotta go and do the paperwork side. And then Linda, you got yours, and you were asking me for, I think you put me as one of your references, right? So I saw that, it kind of got me interested to look at the process, and then I just decided that this round, I might as well do it because I'm training every day on Google anyway. So I went ahead and I did it. So let me show you kind of what Google has. So let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is the Google for Education page. And if you select training on the top and you select get certified, there are 3 different certifications that you can get with Google. The first is to become a Google educator. And to do that, you would take these 4 courses and then 1 elective exam. And most people, I would think, take the Chrome browser exam. Each course, each test is $15, but it does give you the training material and the lessons ahead of time. I do suggest going through the lessons. It was hard for me. It wasn't the easiest thing. I Googled a lot of the answers, especially the Gmail. I don't know why the Gmail is so hard. They asked a lot of technical questions that I just didn't think they would ask. So I got through that. So when you take those 5 exams and you pass it, you become a Google educator. You can say that you're a Google educator. And that's the first half of becoming a Google trainer. You need to pass all the exams. And then once you pass the exams, then you fill out the basically the application. A lot of people, they get stuck, from what I was reading on on the video. You have a 1-minute video to submit, and I saw a lot of different people in the way that they did their videos. I simply just submitted a 1-minute tutorial that I had created, but a lot of people do a lot of fancy things with their videos, and I was like, it says they want a tutorial video, so I just submitted a tutorial video, and they accepted it. I don't know about you guys, Linda and Mike, how crazy your guys' video was. Was it just a straight up tutorial, or?
Yeah, mine was. It wasn't very.
Yeah, mine was a straight up
very technical.
tutorial, but you know, yours was really cool, Chad. I got a chance to look at it, and I think I commented on it. The cute little dog in there. Oh my gosh, who would not like that video with the doggy?
Yeah, thanks. Last certification is, I think, Linda, you have this, and Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, Michelle, you're still the only DOE person that has this certification, yeah? It's the Google Certified Teacher. And this one is slightly different. You apply to it, and it's crazy how many people apply to this. And you know, when you get accepted, you go to this, but you pay your own way to do this. But I mean, I'm sure Michelle and Linda can talk about this more than I can, because I've never done this. But this is a really cool certification to have, and I don't have this one. Michelle and Linda have this.
Yet, Chad. Do you want to go for it?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But you know, I encourage people to get their Google trainer certification right now in the DOE. Michelle, I'm not sure. Did you get your trainer cert, Michelle, or you no? So right now in the DOE, I think I'm the only one, because Mike left the DOE. So in the Hawaii Department of Education, I'm the only certified trainer. But
well, you know, you're right. Well, I know 2 people who have done all the tests, but for some strange reason, they haven't done their videos yet. There's 2 people.
I know one like that too.
I think I might know who those people are.
I think so.
Oh.
There's another lady in Hawaii, but nobody seems to know who she is.
She's new to Hawaii. She moved to Hawaii. I met her.
Yeah.
She was at your thing. All you guys were there at the Mid-Pac conference, the one you guys put on, Mike.
Oh, she was at EdCamp, really?
Yeah, she was at EdCamp.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
No idea.
Would have liked to have met her.
Yeah, me too.
So she's working on her. I met her there. I saw her face, and so I recognized her at EdCamp. She's working on her dissertation, but I don't think I'm not sure if she's going to apply to be a teacher in Hawaii yet. She's a military wife. Nice lady. Really nice.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so that's the basics. If you guys are thinking about doing the training, like Mike and Linda, I think, told me at some point, just go ahead and do it. It's scary. I didn't want to tell anybody that I was applying, because if I wasn't successful, it was kind of embarrassing. I didn't get in, the worst part was waiting, because they told us that we would get notified. Like Linda, you got notified like almost right away, I think.
I did. I got actually notified 3 days before they said they were going to open it up for notification. So I was shocked, and I thought, is this a joke? And it's very, I don't know. I just almost didn't believe it when I got it. I said, yeah, okay, this is the real thing.
For my submittal round, they pushed the date back twice, and it was like 3 weeks later. And I was checking like every day. I was like, I didn't get in, because I didn't hear anything from them. So I think that was the hardest part.
When did you find out?
I forget. I think it wasn't until maybe late December or early January, and the submission was kind of in the beginning of December. So, but it's cool. You know, the biggest part about, I don't know what you guys feel the biggest part about being the trainers, but we have a folder that we have access to with like a uku billion like really good stuff.
Tons of
I just
resources.
taking stuff and copying stuff. It's been great to have access to that one folder. You know, every day we get an abridged summary of what's happening between the Google trainers, and that's been a really cool kind of email to catch and see what people are talking about. Yeah.
I find that more helpful than part of the teacher group as well. And it's good to be part of the teacher group, but the trainer group really gets to the nitty-gritty of what's going on that seem to be applicable to me. So I find that more useful. So has it changed your life, Chad?
Well, you know, I tell people the going rate that we pay trainers like Mike to come and do training in the DOE is $2,500. That's the going rate to hire a trainer for a 3-hour module.
I'm not making that much.
Yeah, I know Mike ain't making that much, but we paying somebody that much.
I'm getting gypped, I think. I'm getting gypped.
But that's truthfully the going rate that we pay out to have an outside company come in and do Google training. So, you know, if you can get hired at that rate.
Did you say for how long?
3 hours.
What? One person, 2 people, 3 people?
It's big money.
1 person. Wow.
3 hours with a limit of about 25 people in the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
The DOE would just take advantage of its in-house talent.
Yeah.
Right.
Forking over that much money, but they like to spend, so.
Yeah, but Mike, the expectation would be that we do it without being paid because we're already employees.
That's true.
On top of our other duties.
Wow.
Good point.
We pay that because we don't have the personnel in house. I think we do now if we could reach out to other schools and stuff. But truth is, at the state and district levels, we don't have the capacity to do those types of trainings. I think it's coming along. We're finding that people are already giving trainings on their own, but yeah, that's what we pay. So that's the going rate. And Brendan, I talked to Brendan too. He said, the guys that put on the Google Summit, they charge kind of a lot to come in and do a training at a school. And it's in about that ballpark.
You're talking about the Q people?
The
EdTech team?
Yeah.
EdTech team?
Yeah.
Interesting. Michelle, you have something to share? Yeah, well, we're all available, right, for people who want to have questions.
Yeah.
For both trainer and teacher. The main thing is don't be afraid, just go for it.
Yeah.
What can you lose? And you learn, taking the courses. I wanted to say about those questions on the courses, on the tests, they're pretty tricky. It's one of those tests that you dread because you don't know, well, it could go either way. There's one word there that, what does that mean? And yeah, so they, even though you study, which you should, study the tutorials, it's still tricky and you have to do it in 90 minutes. It's kind of very stressful, very stressful. Michelle, you have something to share, perhaps?
I do. I have some upcoming opportunities or announcements for, I guess, teachers who are looking to try maybe some things like Melanie shared, ways to involve students. So, and some fun things. Yeah, just fun. So let me just share a couple sites. Uh-oh. My connection doesn't seem very good, though, so...
Are you still there, Michelle? You might be frozen.
Freeze. I'm actually trying to screen share.
I think that. Oh, here. Can you see the?
Oh, here.
Yep.
Got it.
You
Got it
can see it now. Okay. So I discovered the Learning Revolution a while ago, and I think that Steve Hargadon is involved in this. And so those of you who have gone to ISTE, you know him from the Hack Ed that just precedes ISTE, that Ed on conference kind of thing. Anyway, what's coming up right now I'm really excited about is a student technology conference on January 31st. And I have another window. What I like about Learning Revolution, they have a summer conference, and then they have the library conference in October, global education conference in November. And each time you can check the schedule by finding your time zone. And then I've already clicked on Hawaii, so here it is. And you can just scan through and see what's happening, what sessions are being offered at what time. And so you can kind of go through and see, these are all led by students, and there's one that's Google Drive for You, or Say It with Social Media. And of course, this is 5 a.m. on a Saturday, and if you feel like sleeping in on a Saturday, it's okay, because the really neat thing is that they record all sessions, and it's available on their website pretty soon after the conference. So you know, Linda, that I always like to see what students have to say, and I think they're still kind of getting the adding the keynotes or different things, but I was excited about some of these sessions, so I just wanted to point it out to teachers because it's another way that we can get our PD 24/7. The other thing that's coming up is Digital Learning Day, and this is right before the DOE goes on spring break. This is on March 13th. And before, I know that there is some place on here, I haven't really gone through the site, you can add what you're planning to do at your school to, usually it's some sort of big Google map or calendar or something, and then they sometimes have different activities suggested to you. It's a way to showcase and highlight what is happening with digital learning in classrooms around the United States, and a great opportunity to connect with other classrooms and educators, other students. The other thing I want to share, I guess I lost my main window. Oh wait, here it is. In the first week of March is World Read Aloud Day. And remember last year, Linda, we had Matthew Winner, the librarian from, shoot, is he in Massachusetts or someplace?
I think he's in Maryland.
Thank you,
Maryland.
That's right, Maryland. And he came on Google Rocks, and it was like 1 in the morning his time or something. Anyway, he had, whoops, here it is. He had, this is his last year blog. I'm sure he will have some really fun, creative things for this year. But what I loved about what he did last year, so I might just steal some of these again, is to celebrate World Read Aloud Day, he gave some good suggestions for teachers, librarians, classrooms or schools to connect via this blogging challenge. And one of the things I know we did at our school is we had teachers and parents and students share a reading memory. And that was just kind of a fun way to reinforce the importance of literacy. And it was so cute to hear how, you know, one teacher, she put up a picture of herself reading to her cat when she was in like 2nd grade, and her 2nd grade students thought it was so fun to see her as a 2nd grader reading to her cat. I'm sure it inspired some kids to do that. Another teacher talked about how she and her dad always built forts. She posted it on the World Read Aloud blogging thing. How she and her dad built forts under the kitchen table, and they'd sneak cookies into their fort and read books when the mom wasn't looking. I just thought that was kind of fun. So World Read Aloud Day is the first week in March. And then the other thing that I want to say, and Linda, I know you and I will really debut this later, but April 1st is a virtual poetry summit. So I just want people to start sharing this a little bit, because what's going to happen is that it'll be via Google Hangout. It will start on the East Coast, and typically what happened before is teachers could sign up for 10-minute increments, or librarians or tech coordinators, and then they had their students perform either original poetry or dramatic readings of poems, and it goes then throughout the day. And last year the summit ended right when Hawaii schools started, so I asked one of the organizers if we could jump on their bandwagon and continue the hangout actually in Hawaii. So Linda is graciously offered to coordinate that with me because she has lots of wonderful connections at her school, and I'm looking forward to what your I think it was your 6th grade teacher, Linda?
She's excited.
Yeah, what she'll do.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
The other thing we can do too is to invite local poets who might like to share. Or I was even wondering about, I saw there was a slam poetry session in Kaka'ako last week, and I wondered if any of those poets would be willing to come on. I mean, we do need to say that the audience is kids, but it just might be a fun thing to do too. So I just wanted to share those things.
Neat. Yeah, that World Read Aloud Day was awesome for me last year because I got to read the book Too Many Mangoes by Tammy Paikai to a couple of classrooms in New Jersey. They were 1st and 2nd graders. So Too Many Mangoes is a real neat book about sharing in Hawaii. And the author contacted me afterwards and said, "Thank you so much for doing that." So that was really broadened my horizons, and you know, it was so wonderful for me. And then, yeah, for the poetry summit, our 6th grade teacher is excited because she used to have the kids enter the, is it Starbucks
Yeah.
Poetry
Oh, right.
Contest?
Yes.
And that is no longer. So she's looking for another outlet.
Ah,
And
okay.
so, yeah, for her students to be able to share. So definitely going to be working with her, and other English teachers are interested in it as well. So depending on the schedule and how we're going to set it up, I'd love to get, and not only Seabury, other Hawaii people as well.
Oh, definitely. I hope so. So
Yeah.
I hope each of you will go back to your respective schools. And wow, Chad, you have a huge audience, all the schools you train, and tell them about our virtual poetry summit, because I think that, and there's high school kids who would love to participate. And I'm sure, Melanie, you have folks at YLI, and I'm going to hit Mike up for that. Maybe he's getting Baby right now. Look, he turned his video off.
Oh, that would be
I'm
awesome.
hoping Baby
I'm
is
back.
there with you.
Where's
No,
Mikey? Oh.
What's going on?
Hey, I forgot to say one thing. Melanie, I have one more trainer you could add to the rotation, but she's just a second grader. She's an expert in Minecraft. So this past weekend, I had my niece and nephew helping me in just figure out, so here I've opened the server for kids in Minecraft, and I wanted to know what the assignments look like or how a second grader would respond to it, and different things. And it was so hilarious because I was looking for different blocks, or I can't remember what I couldn't find in my inventory, and I was getting frustrated. And so my second grade niece says, Auntie, why didn't you just use the search bar? I was like, oh my goodness. It was really funny. But, as we've just done about a week with the second graders, and I'm really impressed with the level of, or the type of collaboration and communication I'm seeing with these kids. They're so excited. And, today they were in the Minecraft server for about an hour and a half, and I said, okay, I was prepping them to kind of wind down, and one little boy was like, but we just started. And then I said, no, you've been doing it for 90 minutes, and the time flew by. They were so excited. They were in that, that zone that Shane talks about, and it was really neat. So anyway, Melanie, I'll pass her name on to you later.
Yeah, please do. I was actually looking into getting a Minecraft server, but we haven't really made any decisions yet on it.
A lot of things going on at your school, Melanie. Awesome. That's terrific. I wanted to let everyone know that we're going to do, for next week, we're going to have Robert Provenos come on. And he is in California. I don't want to say the town because I forget, but he has won an award for how he set up a makerspace for the district. And so I'd love to get some really great ideas from him. And then I'm thinking there are lots of other makerspace directions we can go. So maybe we could have a makerspace 2, 3, that sort of thing, like we did with the Hour of Code, because that would be just one angle from him, and it might open up other discussion about how makerspaces work. So get excited. I know Melanie will be back because she's excited about makerspaces, I'm hoping. I don't know about Chad. Chad said he'd be a semi-regular person. But that's the way we roll, and we're happy when everyone comes. But it's awesome tonight because we have 5 of our originals. Aren't we the original? And Melly the new person, but I think our original crew is totally here. Right? Yay! Where's the clapping, Michael? Come on now.
Oh,
Clapping.
feeling in my doobie. Oh, that's adorable. Wait.
Yeah, fun times. It's pretty awesome to have the original crew. I remember one time Chad did an ukulele serenade for us. Remember that, Chad? I have to go dig that up. That was pretty awesome. Anyway, anything else? Our chat is hot here because a lot of people are getting ideas about things that are happening. So we will present that to you when we solidify it. So great to have you all on here. Anything Anyone else wants to share or add or?
Google Summit, don't forget to register. I think it's filling up.
Yes. That's
Early
gonna
bird
be-
ends next week or end of this week.
Something like
Yes, I
that.
think the end of this week. Yeah, definitely. That is a fantastic conference to go to. One of my favorites.
And call for presentations ends on February 1st.
Yes, and it's not only, I mean, it's teachers as well. You know, they're looking for all kinds of teachers.
Yeah.
To present. The more the merrier.
Definitely.
Okay, and someone asked in the chat about the Kamehameha EdTech conference, and when is that now? June, early June, first week. That's another good one.
It's hold on, I got the dates right here.
And you can come and talk, you know. Unmute yourself and tell us when the Kamehameha EdTech
June 8th to the 10th.
8th to the 10th.
And there's a free unconference on the Monday. On that Monday.
Right, and that's similar to an ed camp,
June 8th.
where people talk. Well, very similar to an ed camp, right?
Yeah.
The attendees decide what's going to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I really like. Okay.
And actually, there's a small Kamehameha conference coming up in a couple weeks too.
Asha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Are there any tickets left?
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to look fast. I can't find it.
I got it right here.
What is it about?
It's just a little mini unconference kind of thing.
Yeah. They call it a mashup 2015.
32 tickets left.
Ah, okay.
I'll put the link in the event page for anybody watching.
Thanks, Mike.
The show
And
notes.
Linda, there's also
free,
the
by the way.
Moanalua conference in April.
Sorry? Wanalua? Yes.
Yeah, Moanalua High School. It's an ASCD conference in April.
Yeah.
With
Eric
Scheninger?
Eric Scheninger is going to be there, yeah.
Yeah, it should be good.
That should be a really good one to listen to him talk.
Yes. He actually has an open date, April 17th. I'm trying to get him to come to Maui, but I can't get anyone to commit. But I'm still hanging on with hope that he can come. Some people know how good he is, but not everybody. Not the people with the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always the case, right?
Yeah. So, but I haven't given up hope. So if anybody's listening out there, we want a Maui visit for Eric Scheninger. So if you have a contact, let me know.
Maybe you should start a Kickstarter fund, Linda.
Kickstarter.
Good idea. That's a good idea.
That is a great idea. I'd have to ask my admin to make sure it's okay as an employee that I do that. That is not a bad idea, actually. Think about that one. Okay, anything else? Lots of sharing tonight. Much appreciated. Lots of variety, too. And we got Chad on, and Ann on, and Melanie, and Michael, and Michelle. It was really wonderful. So if you can come on next week, that would be great. Makerspaces, we're starting off number 1. I'm guessing that there'll be more. But we shall see all of you next week, we hope. And let's debrief. Don't go away, just in case Michelle has questions afterwards. Take care. Aloha, everyone.
Bye, everyone.